Every day's Casual Friday. That means Monday is Casual Monday. Tuesday, Casual Tuesday. Wednesday, Casual Hump Day. Thursday, Casual Thurs. That's what we call it. And Friday, Casual Shabbat. The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
It is Friday, January 16th, 2026. My name is Sam Seder. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, executive editor, the American Prospect, and co-host, the Organized Money podcast, David Dayen, will be with us. Look back on this week that was. Look forward for the weeks to come. Meanwhile, Canada and China strike a historic trade deal on EVs, canola, and more. So tired of the winning. Trump's approval rating in the toilet, ICE's approval swirling around with it. Meanwhile, Trump floats Insurrection Act and cancellation of elections in response to Minnesotans protecting their communities. Government shutdown 2 weeks away. The Congressional Progressive Caucus backs a bill to redirect ICE money to affordable housing. France, latest European power, to warn the U.S., don't try and take over Greenland. Day 5 of historic nursing strike in New York City. Federal appeals panel reverses and requires Mahmoud Khalil to continue deportation challenges in federal court. El Paso, a medical examiner recording shows a homicide committed in an ICE facility. Nobel Peace Prize winning wannabe Maduro successor Maria Machado gives her medal to Trump.
Give me that.
Leaked chat of New Hampshire Republican elected officials show a call for whites-only schools. All this and more on today's Majority Report. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us. It is
Casual Friday.
Casual Friday, indeed. And here we are for another Casual Friday. And of course, you know, it's sort of like a pick'em today. We don't know. Over the weekend, folks have a long weekend because the celebration of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And we could come back on Monday and it could be we've bombed Iran, or it could be we have taken over Greenland, or it could be the Insurrection Act and the military is engaged, and the military is in Minneapolis. Or really, it could be anything else.
You know what?
Or two of the above.
It could be all three, two or three.
You know what they say. The Trump administration, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know which like hypodermic needle you're going to bite into, or whatever people fearmonger about is going to be in Halloween candy. That's what they're about.
The saying was pithier.
Tuesday. No,
the saying was pithier in Forrest Gump's movie, I should say, than. But yes, the point being, who knows? Well, I guess we'll see. In the meantime, yesterday, you guys played that clip of the woman who was arrested, a U.S. citizen who was arrested, and sort of spoke at a press conference as to her experience when they were arrested and conversations she had with ICE, where they were almost surprised that she was not some type of crazy.
Right. We didn't hit on that angle as much as, it's a good point to bring that up because there was, we played 2 clips of people recounting their interactions with ICE. One was an indigenous man and his relative, and I think it was his mother or his aunt, and she was saying that when she told ICE that she was Native American, they said, "You're next." And then that other clip we played was them also saying, talking about Renee Good as a lesbian, and that's what she was getting, and it underscores what the ideology of these guys are.
Well, they definitely, I think look at anyone who is not white as being lesser, an animal, whatever it is, and I do think that they look at the white people who are out protecting their communities as being literally crazy and lunatics, and there seems to be, I guess this shouldn't be surprising, but this is how, for lack of a better word, evil, horrible people operate. They definitely think that they're in the right, and it creates there's a dissonance with the rest of us. Here's Tom Homan, for instance, or I should say, let's start with this. Here's a Frontline TPUSA. This is supposed to expose the horribleness on the left, that in the way that they're reacting to ICE coming in and brutalizing. I mean, just in the past 3 days, they've shot somebody in the leg. They've this is in the wake of killing someone. They've sent babies to the hospital because they've tear gassed and flashbanged a family just trying to get out of the neighborhood because of all the sort of battles that were going on. And apparently TPUSA thinks this is, when people see this, they're really going to in some way feel sympathy with the ICE folks.
So for the podcast audience, you'll see a car with the trunk open. Turn down slightly. Yeah. You see a car with the trunk open pouring water out onto the roadway.
In front of the ICE facility.
In front of the ICE. So basically knowing it's freezing and knowing that they're creating more ice for ICE to slip on, which is genius. And let's be clear. It's a 2-foot swath. I think
more symbolic. I think than anything.
Yeah.
Two handfuls of sand would probably take care of it. In terms of vehicles that are going over, even then, you're not going to get 4 tires on that thing at any given time. But they're posting it like it's anything other than, wow, that is one of the most sort of reasonable responses to this that you could get.
Left-wing terrorism using Mother Nature and freezing temperatures as their weapons, while we have guns that were pointing at you and shooting at you.
You're not allowed to look at the weather. And here is Tom Homan on with he's on Fox News, of course, with Laura Ingraham, who Laura Ingraham, this is
Speaking of fascists,
I was gonna say this is Laura Ingraham has literally had dreams about this moment we're living in. Mm-hmm. It's been almost like the culmination of her life's work.
She even tries to smile during.
And but here is Tom Homan with I think a really fundamental misunderstanding of who the people are who are getting out there and how the community is reacting to what ICE is doing.
This job and these people who want to say follow ICE, and film ICE, you know what? You can protest; they have that right. But when you cross the line, and we've proven it, if you interfere or impede or assault an ICE officer, you will be prosecuted. And one thing,
pause it for 1 second. I'm sorry, I can't get through this clip without saying we can't believe we left the P. They don't approve of this.
What's the cartoon character that talks like this? Droopy
Elmer
Dog?
Fudd, but he's more, actually, he's a lot more, this is like
Dog.
literally Rocky level articulation at the end of the fight.
Yes.
I mean, look, the girly reference is in My Fair Lady where she has to have the marbles in her mouth, but it's also an old lady reference, and I've got a lot of those too.
All right, roll it back. Go back a little bit. Go back a little bit.
Take it back 10 seconds and run it back.
Good.
Yes, they have that right. But when you cross that line, and we've proven it, if you interfere or impede or assault an ICE officer, you will be prosecuted. And one thing I'm pushing for right now, Laura, we're going to create a database. Those people that are arrested for interference, impediment, assault, we're going to make them famous. We're going to put their face on TV. We're going to let their employers in their neighborhoods, in their schools, know who these people are. Because as you said, a lot of these people, they say they're taking time off work to protest. I bet you a lot of them are calling in sick. I bet you a lot of their employers don't know what they're doing. But we're going to make sure everybody knows who they are. We're going to broadcast. They want to broadcast the ICE officer that was nearly killed all over the internet. We're going to broadcast every one of these people we arrest.
We're going to broadcast. Okay, you know what? I mean, here's the thing. And in a second, a heartbeat, I do a 50-50 trade here. Every person that you broadcast, we get one ICE guy goes down with his mask. I mean, they're all wearing masks, and yet all the protesters are out there without masks, but for the protecting themselves from tear gas. They don't seem to understand that these people that they broadcast, they're going to get right-wing hate, but their employers are they're going to be employees of the month. They're going to get the community is going to be, he's going to create heroes.
Yeah, we hear about the names of these people all the time. Like, for instance, when they're blinded by a pepper ball to the eye and we support them and think what they're doing is heroic. Will Stancil, has completely redeemed himself in the eyes of us dirtbag leftists by following along these ICE brigades and publicizing their whereabouts. It's good to be known for doing this.
And I think that this shows, though, the fact that he says the database thing, right? We always talk about what they're projecting and what resonates and what lands a blow. And to me, it seems like they're concerned about what we're hearing. Tim Walz's statement was weak and insufficient. But what I did like was the fact that they are trying to set up these databases and massively calling on the population there to record this and set this up for future prosecution. This should be what every state is doing right now. Baseline. Because we don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they're going to go into Maine in a week or two. They're already showing a presence in Massachusetts. And the question is which one of our citizens are they going to come in and murder? They talk about Tren de Aragua, traveling from Venezuela to kill everybody. I mean, these ICE gangs are roving through the country and basically doing some sort of band tour. And the over-under is how many citizens are they going to permanently maim or kill, make a polymarket bet on it when they arrive in your town for a little show.
We'll throw my money, but we're going to try and big contracts for some of the let me put it this way, that at one point, probably in 2 or 3 years, I'll be sitting on the board of one of these tech companies that we tasked with building the database.
It's like if Daffy Duck drank a fifth of vodka.
It's the guy who had the hat pulled down his head in Fat Albert.
Oh, in Fat Albert, yeah.
Oh my God, a Fat Albert reference.
Yeah, it's been a while, folks.
I tap out on that one, guys.
Sorry, guys.
Was there a remake when we were younger?
Yes, there was.
Okay, I saw that one. Sorry.
All right. In a moment, we're going to be talking to David Dayen, executive editor of the American Prospect, co-host of the Organized Money podcast. First, a couple of words from our sponsors. Our friends up in Vermont at sunsetlakesabadee.com have just released a fresh crop of their sun-grown hemp flower, and they're marking the occasion with a special deal. Right now, you can save 30% on their Hawaiian Haze and Cherry Abacus hemp flower and pre-rolls. Hawaiian Haze is a sativa cultivar, really popular with folks who want to stay focused during the day and work on a creative project or just take the edge off without getting slowed down. Cherry Abacus, on the other hand, goes in the other direction. It's an indica cultivar. It's much more about winding down, relaxing with a book, or easing into bed at the end of the day. And this deal also applies to Sunset Lake Sabade's vape cartridges, which are ideal for situations that require a little more discretion. If you want to check out their new crop, head over to sunsetlakesabade.com. Use the code NEWFLOWER, all one word, NEWFLOWER, to get 30% off their new crop of hemp flower and vape carts. I'm not going to lie. I've been hitting these pre-rolls a little bit harder these days. Also helps with dry January, although I have to also admit that it has not been dry January for me. But the good news is they don't use pesticides when they grow this stuff. They use integrated pest management. They have great farming practices. They have great business practices. They're movement partners. They've donated tens of thousands of dollars to things like strike relief funds and carceral reform, and Planned Parenthood and immigration resettlement. And I mean, just on and on. Just an all-around great company, great product. You're going to enjoy this. If you've never tried a pre-roll or any of their flour, you should check it out. Code again is NEWFLOWER at sunsetlakesabade.com. Sale runs through January 18th. So you got 2 more nights, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. As always, see the site for full terms and conditions. Also, sponsoring the program today. Well, incidentally, we'll put that link in the podcast and YouTube descriptions. Also sponsoring the program today, a huge time saver, but also like guilt saver, and also like it's just tasty. You have a new year, you're a little stressed out, maybe you just don't like to cook, maybe you don't have time to cook, you want to eat better, maybe you want your kid to have taste like a home cooked meal. That is my case. Well, 2 minutes, real food, and done because of Factor. Factor knows you're motivated to eat better, and they take care of the reason you don't. Honestly, like I never understood a microwave until we got Factor. You order it the week before, comes on a Tuesday, at least it does for me, and 3 or 4 meals for the week, times 2 in my instance, and Saul and I are eating well, and it takes so little time. No cleanup. I've had we're into like shredded like chicken and shredded beef lately. So we had like a shredded chicken with corn, and it was like some type of like garlic sauce over the broccoli. He eats it. He loves it. I had a shredded like beef with like it's sort of like a mash, like a I don't know, like a beef hash. I don't know how to describe it, but it was delicious. Had little tiny onions and carrots and broccoli, and it was like a Jamaican spiced like salmon and shrimp. We're big shrimp eaters at my house. Go to factormeals.com/majority50 off. That's number 50 off, and use the code majority50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for a year. I want to thank Factor for supporting the Majority Report. Factor meals are full quality. In functional ingredients. They have lean proteins, colorful vegetables, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. All that goodness leaves no room for refined sugars, artificial sweeteners, or refined seed oils. With Factor meals, you can choose high protein, you can choose calorie smart, Mediterranean diet, GLP-1 support, and ready-to-eat salads. Factor is made by chefs, designed by dietitians, and delivered to your door. Factor meals are always fresh. They are never frozen. You stick them right in your fridge, and then you just pop them out next day, that night, 2 days, 3 days. They are ready in about 2 minutes. Head to factormeals.com/majority majority50 off, and use code majority50 off, 50 off, to get 50% off your first Factor box, plus free breakfast for a year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. We'll put this in the podcast and YouTube description. Quick break. We come back. David Dane, executive editor of the American Prospect and co-host of the Organized Money podcast. We are back. Sam Seder, Emma Vigeland on the Majority Report. Joining us now, David Dayen, executive editor of the American Prospect, co-host of the Organized Money podcast. David, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with the piece that you just wrote. I guess it was, I don't know, in the last day or so. Maybe it was today. What a people-powered movement looks like in terms of what's going on in Minnesota. Minnesota, feels like they were ready for this in many respects in Minneapolis. I mean, I don't think they were necessarily ready for people to be shot within days of ICE's arrival. And I don't know if we've seen this level of an invasion, right? We're like over 2,000 ICE agents for a city of maybe 400,000. It's pretty dramatic. And you made the point in your piece that, this is what it's going to take. It's going to take people responding as opposed to politicians.
Yeah, I don't think we should really expect politicians to know how to respond to this kind of occupation. Historically, I sort of related it to the civil rights movement, where you saw people, have to move the politicians to act rather than the politicians being out in front of the parade.
And what should the expectations be at this point? I mean, we're 2 weeks away from a government shutdown or potential one. Not if, Schumer and Jeffries have really expressed a desire to avoid one. But to the extent that there's any leverage, that sort of feels like it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance of a government shutdown. The difference would be whether they, sorry about this, whether they move to do a full year funding of the Department of Homeland Security or just a continuing resolution on funding for the year, which wouldn't have any changes from the fiscal year 2025. That's a real non-distinction for anyone who doesn't understand Washington. The reality is, in the last shutdown, ICE's operations didn't change. They continued to and they continued to work even with the ICE agents getting paid, because there was money in the Big Beautiful Bill that was dedicated to removal and enforcement. And there was no way for Congress to really do anything about that. So the idea that a stand, first of all, they've written out the idea that a stand could be taken over DHS funding. The thing that they've retreated to is sort of not even a real distinction. And even if they did, ICE would continue to operate and its people would be paid.
Can you give people a sense? Well, I just want to know who the players are here, though. When you say they, just if you could, I mean, I know Chuck Schumer has essentially ruled it out, but who are the voices that are trying to maybe push them to adopt a stronger stance or hold DHS funding hostage in trying to rein in ICE?
Yeah, I've seen Chris Murphy talk about, in various places that he wouldn't give any money to, an unaccountable ICE. But, what would these accountability measures even mean? I'm not sure it would be a whole lot of anything. To me, it's easy to sit here and get frustrated about that, but I don't actually think it matters. I think that the accountability measures are being conducted by people with whistles and not politicians. And eventually, that will filter up. But it's just not the main area of the field of battle right now.
Is it? I mean, I would agree with that, and we'll pivot to that in a second. But what's the cost associated with, let's say, because as far as I can tell, and maybe you can walk us through this, the differences here. The House has already passed, I think, at least one funding bill that would deal with about a half a dozen agencies. EPA, I think.
The Senate passed that as well. Yesterday.
The Senate passed that well.
So we've got, I believe, 7 of the 11 appropriations bills over the president. So that's full year funding. 3 others are ready to go, and they probably will after the Senate and House are on a week break next week. Because if there's a one-day holiday, they get the whole week off. That's how it works if you work in government. It's pretty good. So next week they'll come back. They'll do that other 3-bill thing. And the only thing at issue will be the Department of Homeland Security, that particular appropriations bill that handles that.
But why not? Yeah. I mean, at that point, what's the cost associated for, the House or House Democrats or Senate Democrats to refuse to pass it?
I mean, what do you want me to tell you? They're not going to do it.
I know, but I'm just curious as to what from their perspective, what's the cost?
But I mean, if you think about it, what's the benefit, right? I mean, okay, they say we're not going to pass Department of Homeland Security funding. And then ICE continues to go out on the streets. They have a ready reserve of $75 billion that was already passed by Congress last July. They can draw on for continuing enforcement and removal operations. So what's the benefit?
Well, the benefit is I could go out and say this incredibly unpopular agency that is out there responsible for shooting somebody in the face, and whatever other atrocities, frankly, that it seems inevitable they're going to commit over the course of the next, 11 months. I can say we voted against funding this. They have been, using slush funds to keep them afloat. But understand that what they're doing is fundamentally un-American. I mean, just put in the political rhetoric. It at least gives you some indication to the American public. We don't agree with what's going on here, as opposed to we decided to fund it.
I don't disagree with you, but I don't think that's going to sway anybody. If you look at this sort of in a results-oriented scenario, you probably have a bunch of senators saying, well, the result is either ICE continues or ICE continues. So why should I take a stand? I'm not saying that's my my take on it, but
I just don't understand what they think is the downside in that instance.
Right.
All right. So let's talk about what's going on in the streets. I mean, I guess this is a question we got to look for organizing to happening wherever ICE ends up showing up. What do you think the reaction is going to be with the media if we start to see maybe more doxing of ICE officers? I know there's I've seen a video out now of folks who got a hold of documents in the one of the ICE vehicles where these ICE guys took off because they were surrounded by protesters. I mean, if I was to have an ask from a funding standpoint, or really anything, is to get rid of the masks, because then this practice of of holding them accountable, at least socially, it'd be much more effective. I'm curious as to what kind of tactics you are anticipating as we go forward.
I mean, I guess just more of the same. So we've seen that while individual ICE agents have been willing to shoot or be brutal, I don't know if they're willing to shoot en masse if there are 50 people, 100 people, 200 people out there. And it seems to have had a definitive impact on the number and frequency of operations and whether or not they can be concluded. So I don't see really any differences. I think the goal, not just sort of the assumed goal, but the stated goal of the murder of Renee Good was to back everybody off. I mean, there have been multiple incidences of ICE agents saying, didn't you learn anything from what we did to that woman? And the only thing that's been learned is a greater determination to continue to get out there and throw sand in the gears. So ICE kind of sees this miscalculation. They were, hoping that what they were doing would lead to compliance, and it hasn't. And now they're kind of stuck
because they've set the bar for their behavior. What do you I'm occasionally I'm reading in some of this sort of puck news headlines or Axios or whatever, that there is concern in the White House. Do you think that's the case? I mean, do you think they really we just played a clip of Tom Homan, who thought that he's going to make a database and promote the names of people who have been, protesting ICE. And from my perspective, it's you're just going to make a lot of people rich with GoFundMe's, they're going to be heroes. What's your sense about what's going on in there?
I don't know that I have a big sense of it. What I do know is that these operations have significantly degraded the popularity and the approval rating, not just of ICE, but of immigration operations by the president more generally. You mentioned Axios. The thing I saw that they came out with today is that the president himself and his staff are concerned that this doesn't look right. You remember that in 2020, one of the re-election talking points for the president was that if you elect Joe Biden, there would be mass chaos in the streets on a daily basis. This was at a time when there was mass chaos in the streets on a daily basis. And now, after his re-election, there's mass chaos in the streets on a daily basis. And at some level, he knows that looks bad on him because ultimately, as the I alone can fix it guy, he is responsible for the attitude that is happening. And while there's a sort of a popular belief that you have to assume that these guys are just unspeakably cruel and actually like it when there is this kind of unrest happening, that it can facilitate, whether it's the invocation of the Insurrection Act or some sort of military occupation or whatever. I think deeper down, they realize that this isn't the way to go.
Well,
And
you mentioned the
and it looks bad
Insurrection
on them.
Act. The Insurrection Act is important, right? Trump is continuously flirting with that idea. What do you think it takes for them to finally go full bore with the Insurrection Act? Because it feels like that's their big red button, and they know that the courts may throw some sand in their gears, but they're not exactly sure how it'll play out. It's just like that's their number one card to play, is my feeling about it.
Well, there was already a Supreme Court ruling that prevented them from federalizing the National Guard. That wasn't using the Insurrection Act. Of course, if they did, they could both either federalize the National Guard or use U.S. military troops on American soil. The last time it was used was in 1992 during the LA riots after the Rodney King verdict. I think there's some sense out there that ruling by the court has forced them to take this extra step, or that in their minds they feel like they don't have any other recourse. But Trump has also threatened this like 4 or 5 times, and it hasn't actually happened. And I think it goes back to sort of how he rules by images on TV, and the image on TV of military rolling through an American city is as much as maybe his lizard brain wants that. I think he recognizes that that would bring us into a new level that would be even more unpopular.
And part of, I think, what enforces that perspective is what you wrote in his Music Man Populism. I mean, he seems to be, it's sort of funny when Trump starts to roll out policies that there's no apparatus, or there's nobody else seems to be aware of what he's doing, but he starts to throw this stuff out because on some level it just sort of feels like, and nobody's going to believe it anymore. But he's come out with a new healthcare policy, which is essentially HSAs. He said he was going to cap credit card bills. What is this, like him panicking, and what's going on around him as he throws out these sort of these policy prescriptions, which, in capping the credit card bill, it's been proposed before, it's been voted on, I think, in the Senate, and we haven't got it, but it seems like a decent idea. But nobody else around him seems to be even remotely interested. I think Hassett said that's more of a concept.
Yeah, maybe I should call it Wizard of Oz populism, because it's kind of a little man with a megaphone that has now been exposed to the world, who's making these pronouncements that nobody has any faith or belief in. So maybe it's that. But either way, it's the words of a con man. I mean, there is no chance that this Republican Congress is going to pass anything that would need legislative action, whether you're talking about, capping credit card interest rates, or whether you're talking about, banning corporate investors from purchasing homes. But even going a step further than that, everything that Trump has done in his first year in office has undermined every single one of these ideas. The CFPB has been dismantled, and before they left, they reversed a ban on credit card late fees. The Discover Capital One merger that will almost certainly lower competition and increased credit card interest rates was waved through by Trump's antitrust regulators. There is, and you can go down the line with every single one of these proposals that he's made, and he's made many. There's something on the other side. Another good one is he said that no defense contractor can give dividends or buybacks unless they start delivering stuff on time and on budget. And then literally hours later, he called for a 50% increase in the military budget to $1.5 trillion a year. And so it's just you end up tuning it out because it's so ridiculous.
It sort of feels like someone should maybe just collect all those and put them on the agenda of whatever presidential candidate is running as a Democrat in 2028, because a lot of them at least sound pretty good in principle, it seems to me. What's his theory? That if he just says it, that it's going to get him support? I mean, I just don't understand how they think this is going to be helpful in any way.
Well, first of all, Trump's ruled by declaration for the first year of this term. And so, it wouldn't be that big of a stretch for him to think that if I just say it, it becomes willed into being, that the institutions will line up and either voluntarily or in some other manner give him what he wants. That's how it's worked for several months now. Or at least that's how he perceives it to have worked. And the other thing is just sort of this belief in this stupidity of his own audience, that if he says something that they'll believe it's true, because he has the bigger megaphone. So I think it's a combination of that.
Let's talk to about something that's a little bit more cheery. New York City. And you've written about Mamdani's more or less the first week. Also, a couple of weeks ago, you noted that in terms of his appointments, characterize his appointments in the context of outside of New York City, because to me it feels like almost like a version of what the Center for American Progress tried to do in 2004 in having a Clinton administration in exile. It's almost as if Mamdani is keeping people in the game essentially for the future.
Right. I mean, I think you can look at it a couple different ways. So on the specifics, the deputy mayor for economic justice was a former cabinet member of Joe Biden. So that's the former acting labor secretary, Julie Su. And she joined the Mamdani administration. So that's going from the federal to the municipal level. Similarly, the head of the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection, which is an agency in New York City, is now run by Sam Levine, who was the former head of the Bureau of Consumer Protection under Lena Khan. And of course, Khan was, on the transition team for Mamdani, and she may take an even broader role now that transition is over. I don't think that's been fully decided yet. So one thing that you see, I think, yes, there's sort of a farm team that's hanging out in New York City, but also it's a recognition that this mayor, there's a lot invested in him in terms of the progressive movement, that they need him to succeed, and that they will supply him with the talent and thinking and creative activity that is needed to succeed. And to succeed not just in the political fights that are going to have to be taken. And he's, to his credit, already succeeded in one big one, getting Kathy Hochul to agree to an investment on the first 2 years of universal child care. But also there's this desire that instead of, sort of waiting for those political fights to bear fruit and sort of telling your constituents to be patient, there's this desire to get things done immediately, right away. And that is what the regulatory structures that are already in place using existing laws in the city of New York can do. And so in his first week or so, Levine has cited some delivery companies for shortchanging workers on tips. And he's even singled out one of them in particular. I don't remember the name. But the idea is to use what's already available so that there is sort of an immediate, tangible difference in terms of how people experience New York City.
Talk about the different layers in which this can impact, because we can have that direct impact on the material lives of New Yorkers. And like you say, they're using pre-existing authorities to do this first. I imagine there's going to be an attempt to expand that maybe as we go down the road. How much of what happens in New York City, I mean, for instance, how much of what happens in New York City can impact on a national level, either by example or by just simply the force of it being the hub of where finance is and where a lot of business travels through? For instance, California, they raise their cafe standards, and then the car companies just all end up setting those new standards anyways, because California is such a big market. How much of that exists? And then how much sort of the third potential impact would be on the political direction of the party, particularly in the wake this week of Warren coming out and sort of putting down some markers? Just give me your sense of those last two, like how much what happens in New York could actually like materially impact the rest of the country, or and politically how much of an impact it'll have.
I think the effect's more political than material. Every jurisdiction is kind of different, has different laws. I mean, New York happens to have this unconscionability law around deceptive business practices, and that's not really something that you can extend to the rest of the country. So I'm not sure about material. But politically, absolutely. I mean, I think that the idea here is that the left wing of the party scored this impressive victory politically, electorally, and now they have to show that they can govern. And I think everything that Mamdani has done to date has reflected that there is this real foregrounded sort of awareness that that has to be at the center of everything they do.
I mean, so far so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's early days, and we'll see how the business community reacts. And there hasn't been sort of any kind of stumble on other things that may sidetrack from this goal or series of goals, whether it's on policing or on other issues. But I think there's just a real desire to govern and and sort of rewrite the things that so kind of the good things that were done under the Biden administration, rewrite the way that those are presented to the public and articulated. I think that's another thing that they're looking to do.
What lastly, what did you make of Warren's speech, of the timing of it? I mean, it's a curious time to do this. Maybe it's geared towards the budget process, or what's your sense?
I didn't read it. I didn't see it.
Fair.
But and I think I'm not alone in the country in saying that. I was baffled by it. I don't think these factional fights matter anymore. I think a woman was killed in Minnesota, and that the order of the day is not where you're going to pitch your economic argument in 2028. I don't understand it.
Fair enough. David Dayen, always a pleasure. Folks can obviously encourage everybody, head over to the American Prospect, check out Organized Money. David Dayen, thanks so much for your time today, bud.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, David.
All right, folks. We're going to head into the fun half of the program. Have some real fun. It's Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Some fun.
Fun.
It's David Frum having fun.
I don't want to think about that. We could talk about another David Plouffe. I mean, I texted you that. I mentioned it briefly on the show yesterday, but that even David Plouffe, the Democratic strategist that like pivoted Kamala Harris to the center, is writing in the New York Times that candidates should say they oppose Jeffries and Schumer as leaders is
not by name, but they did say they should run against the leadership, which,
well, I mean, it's David Plouffe. He's going to half measure it, but
yes. And people, listen, to be fair, a lot of people ran against Mitch McConnell for a long time, and Mitch McConnell was able to stay in power, basically, even past the point where he was literally freezing at a podium. But it is interesting that's speaking to it. But I guess the order of the day is less like is more about what we're going to be doing in different communities across the country. But nevertheless, these fights continue. We can talk about David Plouffe in the fun half.
I don't know. I just we want to round out the David trifecta.
I seem to remember I had some type of weird argument with him on Chris Hayes' program. Not weird. Yes. I don't know. Or maybe it was just on Twitter. I can't remember exactly, but it was something to the effect of like prior to Harris's campaign back in the day where it was like, you did this.
Yeah.
But I think that might have been years and years ago. Anyways, folks, it's your support that makes the show possible. You can become a member at jointhemajority.report.com. When you do, you not only get the free show free of commercials, you also get the fun half. Also, justcoffee.coop, fair trade coffee, hot chocolate. Use the coupon code majority, get 10% off. Matt, what's happening in the Matt Leck Media universe?
Yeah, this morning, a brand new Jacobin show with Neela Tabrizi and Jean Bajalan. We covered one of the possible outcomes for this long weekend, which is another intervention in Iran with Nilu and Jean, a longtime friend of the show. Jean talked about that, and Eugene Deb. So if you're not subscribed to Jacobin on YouTube, go subscribe and check out David and I's Jacobin show. Oh, I was also on the American Prestige podcast. So filling in for Danny Vester, who was under the weather, I believe, with strep throat. So feel better, Danny, and go check out me with Derek Davison.
Oh, that's a real Wally Pipp moment.
Can't recommend that podcast enough, by the way, even before Matt was on it. If when we have big foreign policy stories breaking, that's my listen on the subway into the show, just to make sure I have my I's dotted and my T's crossed.
Very smart show.
Yep.
No one's going to even react to the Wally Pipp thing?
I'm Googling Wally Pipp.
I'm
seeing a lot of black and white photos, and 1893 he was born, so yeah.
Would you prefer that we age you, or would you prefer that we just move on?
I was not alive in the 1800s. Brian, I'm sure that you're aware of. Wally Pipp was a first baseman for the Yankees. He got sick. And then Lou Gehrig took his position for that day, and then Wally Pipp was done. That's all I was saying.
Never missed a game until he retired.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
think that's what's going to happen on American Prestige. But
Well, that
maybe
was
I am the Lou
that was the
Gehrig.
joke.
Wow. Matt, the Iron Man Leck.
Don't look up this.
I do want to read this. Pablo Torre is reporting that Senate Dems are reportedly offering ICE funding increases in exchange for body cams and de-escalation training for agents. I don't know if they mean by funding increases or they mean just literally the funding. Unclear if no mask requiring ID badges and no immunity is on the table.
Get in the streets, folks.
Oh, without a doubt. But it would be nice to think that at least somebody's going to take some political advantage of this. But we can talk more about this.
Dan's probably right. I mean,
In the fun half. We will.
oh, Jesus Christ.
All right. We'll see in the fun half. Maybe we'll take. I guess he had a nice career with the Cardinals after being replaced. Well, all right.
That makes me feel so much better about what we just
See
talked
you in the
about.
fun half.
Yeah.
Oh, incidentally, on Monday, of course, Martin Luther King Jr. Actually, not his actual birthday, but the day that we celebrate his birthday, we will have a traditional compilation of MLK speeches, interviews, reactions to his assassination. So if you're listening to the live show, we will see you. We will be back live on Tuesday. But right now, we're going to be live in the fun half.
Also, it actually is his birthday this year.
Oh, it is?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. It says January 19th.
Oh,
Well, that's Google. So,
Nope, Google's wrong.
oh,
That's wrong. Google's wrong.
well, AI will be 1,000% better in just 3 months. So it'll have the right birthday for Martin Luther
Oh,
King.
I killed like 4 trout to get some bad information.
3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now. And I don't think it's going to be the same as it looks like in 6 months from now. And I don't know if it's necessarily going to be better 6 months from now than it is 3 months from now. But I think around 18 months out, we're going to look back and go like, wow. What? What is that going on? It's nuts. Wait a second. Hold on for a second.
The Majority Report.
Emma, welcome to the program.
Hey.
Matt.
What is up, everyone?
Nomi Key.
You did it.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
Bradley, you want to say hello?
Sorry to disappoint everyone. I'm just a random guy.
It's all the boys today.
Fundamentally false.
No, I'm sorry. Women's.
Stop talking
Oh,
for
wow.
a second. Now let me finish.
Where is this coming from, dude?
But dude, you want to smoke this 7-8?
Yes.
Hi, me? Is it?
Yes.
Is this me?
Is it me?
It is you.
Is this me? Hello? Is this me?
I think it is you. Who is you? No sound. Every single freaking day. What's on your mind?
Sports.
We can discuss free markets and we can discuss capitalism.
I'm gonna go start watching.
Libertarians.
They're so stupid, though.
Common sense says, of course.
Gobbledygook.
We fucking nailed him.
So what's 79 plus 21?
Challenge Matt.
Positively quivering.
I believe 96, I want to say. 857-210-35-501. 1/2. 3/8.
9/11, for instance.
$3,400, $1,900.
6, 5, 4, $3 trillion sold. It's a zero-sum game.
Actually, you're making me think less of it.
But let me say this. Poop.
Call it satire. Sam goes to satire.
On top of it all,
Yeah.
my favorite part about
Yeah.
you is just like every day, all day, like
Yeah.
everything you do.
Without a doubt. Hey, buddy, we see you. All right, folks.
It's just the week being weeded out, obviously.
Yeah, sun's out, guns out. I don't know.
But you should know.
People just don't like to entertain ideas anymore.
I have a question. Who cares?
Our chat is enabled, folks.
Love it.
I do love that.
Look, gotta jump. Gotta be quick. I gotta jump.
I'm losing it, bro.
2 o'clock. We're already late, and the guy's being a dick. So screw him. Sent to a gulag?
Outrageous.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Love you, bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Back.
We are back. Sam Seder, Emma Vigland on the Majority Report.
Emma will be back shortly.
We are taking your IMs, of course. Same fun half song as always. Okay, I guess. Man, what is going on with people today?
You guys are lucky I remembered to even play a song.
Yeah. The mill rhyme. Sam, whenever you reference Homan, you need to go into your Sylvester the Cat voice. Fair. Mark suggests that politics is material, says Milrine. Dimpraya. Sam, button the shirt, bro. You're getting me worked up over here.
No, you're going to get hired on Actual Friends.
Yeah, they need a replacement.
I'll be lying down.
I think there's some legal issues with one of the contributors.
Let's go to the real wide shot so he can get me like laying down on my desk.
Sam's got the covers up to his chin. Be like, hey, guys.
Wait, what did I miss? What did I miss?
Somebody
Hi,
commented
guys.
on chat, Sam having his button unbuttoned, and Sam said he's going to fill in for Russell Brand on Best of Friends or whatever that's called.
Sorry, I'm a little late. I spilled water everywhere, all over the desk. So
All over the
it's
electronic stuff.
I barely missed the electronics, but it's that one of those days.
Hogtown. I think he's more of a Pete Puma than Elmer Fudd. Tom Cotton's Blood. Sam, I think this is more of your generation. Didn't Fat Albert and Friends have a character named Mushmouth? I think I can't remember.
Mushmouth is the hat guy.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
one you said. Yeah. that
Okay.
is
Yeah.
Mushmouth.
Reese from Tacoma. Sam's Tom Homan impression has really changed the game for me. I think it's the most accurate way to represent the rot from inside his soul that is trying to seep out of his mouth. There you go. This clip from a couple of days ago in Minneapolis, it may be the case that the folks in the White House, although I'm not convinced of this, or at least not unanimous in enjoying to see this chaos and this stuff on the streets. Certainly, this ICE thug seems to enjoy it.
Sorry, I had the kids walking out ready. Here's the...
Nope, 5C.
I don't care what they told you. If you guys get in my way, I will arrest you.
Sir, we're just observing. Please calm down.
You can observe all you want.
I am observing. Do you
Stay
see
back.
me in the way? I am bad.
You had anger issues as a kid, didn't you? Were your parents present? You should be ashamed of yourself, man.
He is.
I love my job. Thank you.
You love your job?
I can't believe I get paid for this.
Really?
I do this for free.
Really, I get $200K. I'm a physician assistant.
How long did you go to school for that?
Over 7 years.
I went to high school, and I make $200K.
People regard me as someone valuable in society. What about you? Is yours says prestige? No, it doesn't come. Come out and report it.
That guy's pretty excited about his job. He gets to hunt people down, and he'd do it for free. He'd do it if he didn't pay him.
I wonder if he has any affiliations to past groups that may have been in the news.
200K we're paying for that schmuck. I mean, I don't really believe him. I bet it's over 100K to sit around a parking lot in a balaclava.
But I did enjoy Were Your Parents Present. That seemed to kind of get under his skin. But yeah, I make a lot of money.
All these guys are basically the products of failed parenting.
Aren't they making a lot of money from the government, sucking off the government's teat? I've heard from Marjorie Taylor Greene, among others, that
Isn't that the problem that we supposedly? Isn't that the problem that we supposedly have with immigrants?
Right.
We
Right.
just simply decided to give the money to the worst element of our society. People in Minnesota are pushing back big time. Here are students. These are high school students. This was, I guess, on Wednesday. Do we know what high school this was? Is this the same high school that?
I think this is just students in general, from what I read.
Okay, let's watch. This is inspiring.
From Brendan Gutenschwager, a BG on the scene. Man, that's a lot of
That's
kids.
a lot of students. That is a lot of students. That is not one high school. Wow. Wow.
Good for those kids.
Yep.
I would have been the guy with the anarcho-syndicalist flag in high school. I would have been that guy.
Let's throw some rocks.
This was also good to see. This happened about 3 days ago in Rectangle Pizza. I mean, this is the thing. It's like you got Tom Homan and these people saying like, these are the type of people we're going to put on television. We're going to show their faces and their bosses are not going to like it. Rectangle Pizza, you probably can't even get a pizza from there right now. They're so busy in the wake of this.
They're not the one wearing masks.
This video shows several men exit an SUV outside Rectangle Pizza in South Minneapolis. This video shows several men exit an SUV outside Rectangle Pizza in South Minneapolis.
And they stormed up on our door to try to get in.
But Rectangle Pizza co-owner Brianna Evans says employees and community members chased off those ICE agents after they tried to enter her restaurant Monday afternoon. Video appears to show those agents leaving, but not before deploying chemical agents, which were kicked right back.
They don't belong here. They're not this community. They're not what we believe in. We support and love each other, and you can see from that video exactly what happens when they try to with us.
Hell yeah.
I mean, Tom Homan wants
We're
to
gonna
take
make her famous.
put her in a database.
Yeah.
Like what? How
medals?
how many gift muffin baskets are going to be sent to that location? People are going to be ordered, and they're not going to be able to. They're going to run out of pizzas within a day.
Yeah, there was also footage. I saw a TikTok of a woman, and it had a music behind it, so it wasn't really worth it for us to play on the show. But loading up her grocery cart, filling it all the way up because she was delivering it to her neighbors who are too afraid to go outside. Like, we're looking for hope in these moments of darkness, but it's just really amazing to see how the community steps up in the face of this kind of thing. And Minneapolis is there will be books written about Minneapolis as the center of American history for the past 5+ years, from George Floyd to now. Like, what
Philander Castile before that.
Exactly. So yeah, 10+ years. It really has been so central to the American civil rights and justice movements right now in the United States. And I just think like the Minnesota community members, they have that memory of even the George Floyd protests too, and the community coming together. And in the end, Minneapolis did reform its police department in part. And so I think between the fact that it's so multicultural and was accepting of some parts of the state, of the Somali community that came in, and the fact that they were at the heart of the George Floyd protest movement, makes them at like the bullseye for the fascist Trump administration.
And the key thing to look to now that we probably should have mentioned earlier is January 23rd. Faith, union, community leaders calling for an economic blackout on January 23rd.
Yep.
So check in for that if you're in Minneapolis, and how to
Unions are involved in this. Basically, unions, activists, community leaders. They're all basically saying, stay home. Don't go to work. Don't go to school. Don't go do any of that stuff. And here, Brian, can we put this up on the screen too? This number one. This is I want to put this link up so that folks can see it. It is a mutual aid link tree. Yep. Where can people find it? Like what's the website?
It's linktr.ee/MPLS mutual aid.
We'll put that link in the
at MPLS mutual aid, and then it's the link tree associated with that. So you have CARE Minnesota, Unidos Minnesota, Immigrant Movement Minnesota, other resources for people if they want to help. And if you're not in Minneapolis or you want to double dip, look for mutual aid organizations in your own community and see if they need any resources right now, particularly if you're in Maine, particularly if you're in Los Angeles, or Massachusetts. We're going to be seeing more and more activity in those areas.
So ICERRT.com, the ICE Rapid Response Team, that link is always in the blogs.
Right.
Phone should be good to go.
All right, we're going to take some phone calls in a bit. What else? What do you want to get to here?
Let me take a look really quickly. We should probably do 7 or 8 if you want to do the breakdown of the footage that the Times got.
Yeah, the Times have put up another video. I mean, it doesn't. I guess it feels like it's a little bit late, and it feels like all it does is make it clear what everybody else has seen. I don't know who needs to be convinced at this point. It's not like anybody on the right who have been pretending that this guy's life was under threat.
We don't need to play it. It's fine.
On some level, it's really more embarrassing for CBS. I mean, that's like probably the only place where people still read the Times and have been trying to push this sort of like vague notion that this guy had internal bleeding because of the of being hit by the. I mean,
ABC followed up that too. They reported the same thing with the same thin sourcing. So it's not just a Barry Weiss problem.
I mean, it like the internal bleeding could have been like maybe he had a blister on his foot or something.
Well, it's internal, so you don't know. Well, then don't. I mean, I don't. We don't.
You don't pop the blister.
Yeah, let's play something else then.
Indigestion.
Let's play number 7. Here is Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, being asked a question that I guess has made them a little defensive in the White House. The reporting was I think it was Axios, as David Dayen told us, that Trump and at least some in the White House, I expect that's more like Susie Wiles than it is Stephen Miller. So I think from Stephen Miller's perspective, this is going very much according to plan outside of like the calling of the Insurrection Act. But other people in the White House probably see like this is not headed in the right direction. I mean, the polling is just he is getting destroyed on all of the issues that he was strong on before, including immigration, particularly in the context of ICE. To the extent that there's any sort of like debate or controversy as to where public sentiment it is like whether we should completely eliminate ICE or just shut down huge swaths of ICE.
Exactly.
That seems to be where like the state of play is, and it's not moving. I'll tell you, it is moving in the direction of just simply getting rid of it.
Independents driving it too. Like the numbers that we see for Trump's floor being higher than other perhaps past presidents is because it's a cult of personality within the Republican Party. But we see an increasing number of independents, people not identifying with either party, and they are driving in part this like disastrous approval rating for him across the board.
So now you understand the context in which Caroline Leavitt sort of loses it.
Agents. Earlier, you were just defending ICE agents generally, and earlier on, Secretary Noem spoke to the media, and she said, among other things, that they are doing everything correctly. 32 people died in ICE custody last year. 170 U.S. citizens were detained by ICE, and Renee Good was shot in the head and killed by an ICE agent. How does that equate to them doing everything correctly?
Why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist, and it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat. But you're pretending like you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungray or all of the innocent Americans who were killed at the hands of illegal aliens in this country. And the brave men and women of ICE are doing everything in their power to remove those heinous individuals and make our communities safer. And shame on people like you in the media who have a crooked view and have a biased view and pretend like you're a real honest journalist.
You're biased.
I mean, for Trump probably goes, oh, I love the way your lips move. Like that works for the base. That works for the base. I don't doubt that was because unfortunately that reporter played it wrong. I don't know why he responded and said what he thought that he saw. He should have said, I'm the reporter asking you the question. You
right.
can
It doesn't matter what
characterize
I
it.
think.
It doesn't matter what I think. He walked into her trap. But she's insufferable. And
he's also not a left-winger.
Of course not. But of course that's what they're going to say. And then next question, Riley Gaines, the non-activist in the room.
Yeah. Who literally has her own baby in her lap.
Why isn't she at home with the baby?
I know.
She wants to be able to tell her kids.
Shouldn't she be
Mommy
wearing
was there right on the front lines of the fascism.
Yeah.
Just in case my child asked me where I was when the fascism was
Take your
growing.
kid to Nuremberg Day.
I was right, exactly.
I mean, she was a key plank in getting it elected with the whole men and women's girls sports bullshit.
Yeah.
Like that was a huge part of the coalition, sadly, with how brainless this fucking country is.
Should we watch this third way thing or no?
I like Newsom.
Oh, Newsom. Okay, yeah.
You heard it here. Matt likes Newsom.
What?
He's not afraid to have conversations.
What is this guy? I can't understand like what this guy's strategy is. He's trying to show maybe that he's like brave enough to go on these shows. But
is he brave enough to come on ours?
Well, to be fair, we were pitched him many times over the past couple of years, and I was just not interested in promoting him at that time. Not so much in the past year, but back in the day.
Well, I'd be interested in holding a different, having a different kind of interview with him.
I mean, maybe we will do that. But here's Gavin Newsom on with Ben Shapiro.
One was a narrative that was immediately pushed by the Trump administration and Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem that she was a domestic terrorist who was attempting to run over officers with her car and was legitimately trying, not just this officer, but multiple officers. That was the original statement. I said at the time, I thought that was untrue. And then your press office tweeted out that it was state-sponsored terrorism, which, I mean, Governor, I do have to ask you about that. Yeah. That sort of thing makes our politics worse.
Yeah. Pause it for a second. Okay, like this idea of like making our politics worse.
Decorum? What?
You just in the like, you had one kid. I mean, you guys played this video, I think, yesterday of the kid who lost his eye because he was shot in the face with a pepper ball and then dragged along the wall. You have a father trying to get his kids out of the neighborhood because ICE is deploying tear gas and flashbangs, and his kid needs to go to the hospital, ends up because of what ICE has done. You have someone who has been shot in the face. You have someone who's been shot in the leg. You have ICE roaming around, going up to vehicles in parking lots, because folks are black or brown and demanding to see their papers. And the idea that a press release talking about I mean, this is what it is, right? I mean, like this is
no, it's not
this
even
is the whole agenda. They just shut down the San Francisco immigration court.
Yeah.
They don't want to process these people. They want to round them up, have no due process, no process. Never mind due, no process whatsoever, and just ship them out. It could be anybody that they're going to ship out.
We just have a few seconds of this left, and then I'll weigh in. But there's just so many layers of how pathetic this is from Newsom.
Governor, I do have to ask you about that.
Yeah.
That sort of thing makes our politics worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, our ICE officers obviously are not terrorists.
Yeah.
A tragic situation is not state-sponsored terrorism.
Yeah,
Pause it again. I'm sorry. I know we want to try to get through this. We're going to have to go through it again. I'm sorry. But are they obvious? Is it obvious they're not terrorists? We don't know who they are. I mean, like we know for a fact that they hide their identities to the public. And we also now know that getting hired by ICE it's virtually impossible to not get prevented from being hired by ICE. We had that story from Slate where this woman, she applied for to ICE. They did none of the supposed background checks, none of the vetting, none of it.
Well, I object to the term terrorism more broadly, given like what we have seen that term being be used to license, whether it be the genocide in Gaza, whether it be the crackdown on dissent here domestically. But can you just scroll up to the way that they caption this, the Daily Wire, just the first line here? At Gavin Newsom walks back, calling ICE operations state-sponsored terrorism. They're taking a victory lap at the Daily Wire. They really think that they got Gavin Newsom to look weak, and it's exactly what happened. Because right now, Ben Shapiro is in the midst of a reclamation project for his own career. He's repeatedly going on CNN and other mainstream outlets and trying to water down what his politics have actually represented, as if they are distinguishable from Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson, who he now dislikes because they have turned on the state of Israel. He had employed Candace Owens when she was saying the real problem with Hitler was that he was expansionist, and that if he had just kept his policies to Germany, that everything would be okay. So he doesn't have a problem with anti-Semitism, and everything else here is just window dressing for his brand. And he has effectively gotten to sit down with Governor Gavin Newsom, who the average person might think is just this crazy California liberal, and made him retreat from a position, making Shapiro look like the moderate. So what Gavin Newsom is doing is not only making himself look weak, he is elevating right-wing ideas with the way that he is going on these programs. And that was all the way back to when he went on Charlie Kirk's show in the wake of the election before Charlie was killed.
Charlie Kirk on the first episode of his show.
Yep.
Yes. And so like I don't know exactly what Gavin Newsom thinks he's doing here, but he's not doing anything to benefit him, as we see the public opinion within the Democratic Party shift to eventually the majority opinion is going to be about abolishing this agency. All he is doing is giving credence to right-wing ideas, and this benefits the right way more than it benefits Newsom, because we're seeing the numbers. Newsom's position on this is to the right of probably half of independents, in addition to his own base.
And does he think that, like, I mean, I just wonder what the theory is that this is.
It's a consultant-driven theory. It's the exact same people that were talking to Kamala Harris.
The Fetterman bros are already saying, Adam Gentleson, the other guy who was the policy director, I forget his name, they are all saying, this is swinging unpopular now, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. He's listening to them. Like, it's clear as day.
Right.
He's listening, but it's motivated reasoning from a bunch of wealthy consultants that don't want there to be any shift in our politics. And these are the people that guys like Gavin Newsom listen to. This clip is so indicative that he's not connected to the people. And this is being driven by by focus testing and what wealthy people think is the center of the country.
I mean, and let's just address the actual, like, whether it's terrorism or not. It's political performance of the state's monopoly on violence, what ICE is doing. And it's for political reasons. It is not for public safety. If Gavin Newsom wants to suggest that this is for public safety, he can come on this show and do it, because that's a fucking joke. We've had enough of these guys since Renee Good was shot in the face 3 times by a guy who argued with his family about the Proud Boys and white nationalism, that other guys have said, you didn't learn a lesson from that? Like, it is terrorism.
That's
They are political
definitionally
terrorists.
right. I mean, learn from the violence, change your politics, change what you're doing here. I mean, that's it's definitionally.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough. It's just
I mean, the history of it using is like, I mean, nobody says Israel was also founded by terrorism.
Oh, and but the other thing I was
this is all KKK stuff. It really is.
Yeah, but the way that, also to point this out, this is why we were skeptical about his like social media activity, Gavin Newsom, in the wake of like Trump's inauguration. There were very few people that were trolling or pushing back on Trump on the Democratic Party. And there was this rush to give Gavin Newsom all this credit because he has some teenagers that are online or young people that work for his social media campaign that are good at dunking on Republicans. But this is him literally showing that he has no connection to whatever his online presence is here, walking back the statement from his own communications.
Same people who have been basically giving him all the nice attention.
Exactly. So this guy, we're talking about the Wizard of Oz. I mean, his public social media presence, however online he is. God, he might know who. I don't even know a streamer Aiden Ross is. Whoa!
Through his kid.
I mean, through his kid who liked Charlie Kirk or whatever. I mean, this is nothing. This is the most shallow performance of politics possible, and he just demonstrated that even the best thing that he's done in 2025, well, besides the gerrymandering stuff, like in terms of opposing Trump publicly, is the result of a communications team and not his own sincere beliefs.
And we should say this is a huge missed opportunity to speak to Shapiro's audience, who very well may be open to the idea of like, does this increase public safety? Yeah. I mean, do people in Minneapolis feel safer today than they did 3 weeks ago? I mean, the answer is unquestionably no. And it is the same every time ICE descends in this way. People are, why are they wearing masks? Like, I mean, there's a big opportunity to say, like, when we talk about, if it's necessary for you to go and talk to these people, which fine, I understand from a political perspective, maybe you think that's a wise thing to do. Speak their language, at least. You talk about government tyranny. This is what they were talking about. They weren't talking about, hey, you're going to keep us from having 64-ounce size sodas at the bodega. They're coming in with guns. They're basically saying we can go door to door. We don't need a warrant. We're not going to be masked, and we're getting up armored. I mean, like, what else were we talking about?
Yeah,
the government tyranny as like, I need a license to give a haircut. Like
you have a vaccine card. Yeah, that's what they're talking. Well, but this is also, I mean, there's so many layers of cynicism to this too, is that, Gavin Newsom is still the sitting governor of California. His ambitions are obviously president. And as he's doing that, he's more interested in not messaging to protect right now the many Latina people that live in your state. It's to go on and capitulate to the right about how ICE, who's brutalizing people, including a 21-year-old kid who's your constituent, who was just blinded permanently by ICE, and to say they're not terrorists, they're actually not that bad, because my ambition is president. He has no concept of public service or connection to what he wants to do to the people of California.
Truthfully, he's one of the most hollow politicians on the scene right now.
The number is 646-257-3920, 646-257-3920. 646-257-3920 is the phone number. I can't promise we're going to get to many calls, but we may get to some.
Oh, I also just, since California came up, slight correction. I think I called Scott Wiener Nancy Pelosi's hand-picked candidate the other day. I don't think that's true. I think he's the establishment pick, and not. I think he entered the race before Pelosi even dropped out. So I just want to get. I don't know if anyone will see this, but I got something a little bit wrong the other day, and I'd like to correct that. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Oh, well, your funeral.
We don't need to make a big deal about it.
Okay, well, it was eating me up.
I didn't sleep last night. But yeah, the big guy who wanted to make a big performance about why he didn't call it a genocide. Yeah, let's be.
I mean,
sure
it's largely irrelevant because it's still he's the establishment pick. But
I have a funny little palate cleanser that
You just
Brian...
gave me PTSD. Because you have to stop wherever you are on a base and salute the flag. So I'd always try to dive inside a building as soon as that started.
I gotta go to the bathroom. We have a little bit of a funny thing here. This is from Connor's Comedy on Instagram. Brian showed me this before the show, and it's appropriate to sort of what we've been talking about the last few minutes here. This is Connor's Comedy.
Guys, the British are low-key right. Yeah, I heard about the Boston Massacre and it's sad, but you know what they say? If you throw rocks, you get shot in the face. Yeah, but did you guys even think maybe we shouldn't have dumped their tea out? Come on, think about it. Having a king is kind of cool. I think there should be more British soldiers in all of our towns telling us what to do. Come on, guys, aren't we being a little hard on the British soldiers? Did you ever stop and think about that being a British soldier is like a really tough job? Why shouldn't they be able to kill whoever they want? They're soldiers. Think about the property damage from the tea. That's like a lot of property that was damaged. Just because they all have guns doesn't mean that they don't get scared. Having a bunch of unarmed people around you yelling is really scary. You guys, you're not supposed to disrupt them while they're working. That's like royal law you're breaking. They shouldn't even have to wear their red coats. The ones who are beating up your fellow citizens, those are the good guys.
That's royal law you're breaking.
All right, let's go to the phones. Calling from a 304 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Is this me?
It is you. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Mostly because last time I called, I was worried that you didn't answer 304 calls because it's West Virginia and Tim Pool lives here.
Ooh, but your phone's a little. Are you on speaker?
No, not.
Oh, that's much better.
Much
yes,
better.
There you go.
Okay, sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, I'm calling from West Virginia, and I'm just calling for a couple quick things. One, the Riley Gaines thing. I don't know if you guys saw, but she said that she had a bulletproof blanket over her baby because she had death threats at that meeting. So another reason I'm not really sure why she took that baby with her to that meeting.
That poor child. Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
A bulletproof blanket. I'm just trying to think
really
about...
do think that if you feel like you need to have the baby wrapped in a bulletproof blanket, keeping the baby at home probably an option.
I got my niece and nephew some bulletproof blankets recently, and I told them don't tell people that you got the blankets. What's the point of the blanket if you tell them it's a bulletproof blanket?
Are you sure she's not referring to the baby itself, like as a bulletproof blanket, like Elon Musk was doing with his
yeah,
kid?
exactly.
Yeah.
She's using the baby.
Very suspicious. I need to know what. There's got to be like a whole market of bulletproof baby stuff that is just absolutely ridiculous. I'm not sure, but I'll keep it short. I'm from West Virginia. My name is Skylar, and I'm probably like the only person in the area with a Majority Report shirt, a Majority Report hat. I've got it all, and I love you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Bye.
All of the results.
That was it.
All of your results for a bulletproof baby blanket come up with a Riley Gaines. So
Noah from Tampa, John Wick baby. Calling from a 308 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it is Kowalski from the Windy Plains.
Kowalski from Nebraska. What's on your mind, Kowalski?
What month is it?
It is January.
You sure? It feels like a lot has happened if it's only January.
It feels like January 2027. I will give you that.
Yeah. Not really too fond of how quickly, like, news media is moving or, like, the destruction of the country. I also didn't know if it was like the 1850s because, there are just these slave catchers all over the Midwest right now, and they seem to be making a ruckus again.
Yep.
So, yeah. Well, speaking of, like, horrible news, I have an ag report. Well, are you interested?
Yes. In fact, we just got an IM from the Mill Ryan that said, can we start referring to Kowalski as the Majority Report Shadow Secretary of Agriculture? So please, with the farm report.
All righty. And I do accept that position and all of the financial rewards I assume it does not have. So
check is in the mail, my man.
The United States is going into one of its worst trade deficits in agriculture. Actually, not one of its worst. It is likely to be the worst. Last year was the worst. This year is projected to be even worse. But this could be good for Mexico and other Latin American countries. So basically, since 2017, the United States has been hemorrhaging skilled migrant farm workers, and they are very skilled. Anyone who says they are unskilled are only saying that to justify their abysmal pay. They are better than most people, and I will die on that hill. But yeah, basically since 2017, we've been hemorrhaging these workers, and as a result, our food-to-table production in the United States has been dropping drastically. Like, think your, like, tomatoes, carrots, stuff that require people to harvest, not mechanized things. As a result of this, we are far more dependent on imports from Mexico. So this is a point of leverage that Mexico has over the United States. So the reason I think this is good is when Trump decides to threaten Mexico with going after cartels there without coordinating with the Mexican government, they could just levy an economic trade war against us, and we would see the prices of groceries double.
Wow.
So that is a type
of
leverage we have not seen.
Put into context, like from a number perspective, like how much that sort of dynamic has shifted. Like what percentage, let's say in 2017, and maybe you don't know this off the top of your head, what percentage of our carrots, our potatoes were U.S. Produced versus Mexican?
So any starchy food like potatoes is going to be domestic because that can all be done through like mechanization. But if you're thinking of, even apples are probably the only fruit that we're probably fine with. But,
right.
Oranges, citrus, like Florida's citrus production has collapsed, not just from environmental issues, but from a labor perspective. Just everything you think California produces, exclude nuts, basically we are hemorrhaging the production on all of that. So just broadly, about a third of all of the produce you see at the grocery store, most of that is Mexico or maybe Colombia. So if Trump decides to go haywire on Latin America, they can just hit us with this, and it would be the largest inflationary pressure on the average American you can think of, because you can't just source this from someone else. Like, these are supply chains that are incredibly complex, and there's no resiliency in the global system. So it's kind of like a trump card, because, you can go for a while without oil. You can only go 3 days without food. It's literally impossible to get around this. So I do see there is a lot of strength there for Mexico going into a bargaining arrangement, and we're not likely to see any improvements domestically with food production because I mean, Georgia tried to force prisoners to harvest peaches by hand, and it didn't work. Even attempting to bring back slavery, it didn't work. So, yeah, it's good news for them, which I think is good news for us in the long run, because it'll temper the ability of this administration to, go full 18th century, 19th century on Latin America.
Yeah, he seems to have a couple of states, a couple of countries like in the lineup before he gets to Mexico. But yeah, go ahead.
The other thing that I wanted to point out, and I'm actually working on a video on this, I think we're starting to see how sanctions do not work in the long run, because it destroys our ability to have any influence on a country after they have found a way around our sanctions. So, for instance, in Venezuela, we can't replace their government without a commitment of 150,000 boots on the ground, because we would have to take over the supply lines for food, medicine, and energy. And there is no appetite for the American public to do that, because we would have to stay there for a decade.
Right.
And because we have shattered all of our private connections with the country, we don't have a ground game opposition there. And that's also true with Cuba and Iran. Even if we wanted to back like the protests in Iran, who on the ground is going to be on our side? We don't have anyone. We shattered every bit of credibility we had with them after Trump retreated from the nuclear deal. So it shows how having these punitive sanctions, which don't really punish the population, the government just finds workarounds. And I mean, even if you have to sell your resources on the cheap, now basically only the government is capable of getting any of the resources. And I mean, in the case of Iran, the foreign currencies they get can only be denominated basically in Chinese yuan. And if that's the case, only the government can import food. Only the government can get the technologies for their communication systems. And we don't have any players on the ground there that would have a secondary line of communication to get information out. So, like, if there was a riot of this magnitude in, say, like, even Mexico, there's no way we could have a media blackout there. There's too many communication points outside of the governments. So when we decide to do these economic sanctions, they only work in the short run. And if you allow it to go to the long run, it basically just doesn't work anymore. You're just strengthening your opposition. And it puts us in a really weak position, just long term. So I guess what I'm getting at here is this actually gives me a lot of confidence that the administration basically isn't going to be able to enforce its foreign policy will outside of triggering chaos.
I think that's true. I mean, I think
I don't think anybody wants that.
Like my sense from after the first couple of days in Venezuela was just like, this is nothing. We're going to get nothing. He's just going to like pretend like in 6 weeks, like it's just going to like all have faded away. All the oil companies, for the most part, don't want to invest as a function of both like the political situation there. And I think also the nature of Venezuelan oil requires a refining that there are no refineries around that do that. And so it would involve such an enormous investment to change how, the processes in the refineries. And I think it's just going to be like at the end, Trump's just going to get the Nobel Prize. And then, 6 weeks from now, it's nothing. It's just going to be the Delcy regime, and that's it. I don't think he's, in Greenland, like I don't think, I think it's just, it's possible. I could see like them trying to land 250 like paratroopers in Greenland and say like, we own it now. And everybody just sort of look around and say, let's just wait until he dies or something.
But it's setting up us for catastrophe. Like years from now, this sort of fortress mentality, you need to be a good neighbor to the world, actually.
I mean, if you wanted a fortress mentality, you would need to have mutually beneficial relationships, not a domineering one. In the case of Greenland, though, I think that's just an ego trip for Trump. He wants to be the guy who annexes the largest territory in one single motion because it would be slightly bigger than the Louisiana Purchase. But I mean, like, anybody who says, "Oh, it's for
apparently
minerals,"
Ron Lauder, the billionaire Ron Lauder, put it into his head that we should have Greenland, and I wouldn't be surprised if if Putin had also put it into his head that we should have Greenland, and he's just like, and then yes, I think he's probably motivated by this idea of like, I could be like the Louisiana Purchase, except for it's the Greenland Purchase, and this is how I get into the history books with my Nobel Prize. And it's
the Don Rosiniana
the Donroe Doctrine. Well, Secretary Kowalski, thanks so much for your presentation today.
Yep, no problem. And folks, I do have a YouTube channel. I expect to have a new video out tomorrow. It is Prairie Fire Neb. Please go there, like, subscribe. Don't hit the bell.
Okay.
I don't want you to do that.
You don't want people notified?
Wow.
No. I want the comments to come in at a slow pace, not all at once. So
All right.
don't hit the bell.
All right.
All right.
There you go.
Well, you all have a good one.
You too.
And Happy New Year.
Prairie Fire Neb. Happy New Year.
Kowalski did kind of go 0 to 100 with his channel. He got 100,000 view.
Yeah, we should be taking tips from him. Yeah.
818. Calling from an 818 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's me, finally.
Okay.
Who's that?
Do I have to say it's me?
No, you can just say 818. Where are you calling from? You want to say?
Okay, cool. I'm calling from California.
Okay.
Thanks so much for taking my call, Sam. You know, I've been trying to get through to you. And you all, Emma, Matt, love everybody. Brian, what an amazing addition. Show's banging right now. So, I'm from California. I'm running for Congress. And so happy to hear about Greg Stoker. I got that news from you yesterday, Emma. Thank you.
Yep.
Because we're basically doing the same thing. He's running a nonpartisan campaign. I think he gets to run against a Republican. I'm specifically running against the Democrats, right? He probably gets to run, you know, it's a little, whatever. He's got the going against the Republican thing in Texas 31 there.
Yeah.
So the task is to, run against the Democrats. Sorry, let me back up. Got a little nervous for a second. No one's voting for the Republicans this year, right? Obviously, no one's voting for the Republicans this year. You guys are spending all this time on the show depicting all the reasons why no one's voting for any Republicans this year, right? So it's going to make the bloodbath this year is going to make 2018.
I mean, you are way too confident right now, bro.
I think.
No, I am too. Yes, exactly. I am way too confident right now because I'm doing this. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to win in my district. Okay, and the reason I'm not. You'll know soon why I'm not saying my name or my district. Okay. 'Cause I want to do a little sneak attack on these fools. Okay, and I want to get the other 10 to 15 people. We only have 3 weeks left to get people on the ballot. I don't know how it is in other states. I need those research nerds out there to get on it, right, and figure out when the filing deadlines are on every state, okay, and figure out when, because you can do it. You can do it right up to the very last second, okay. In California, for example, you only need 20 signatures and $1,700.
Okay.
Right, you need 20 signatures and $1,700, or 1,700 signatures, but if you have access to funds.
All right, so you want to encourage
you can get
people to go and run in primaries.
Yeah, okay, so let me get to my point. So, yes, specifically we need to coordinate, right? So it needs to be a coordinated campaign. I'm already putting together the sort of pre-party platform. We won't have a party till next year.
How are you going to coordinate if you're anonymous?
Oh, yeah, no. that's all going to be revealed in like 3 weeks. So here's the deal. The email account is Resistance Party 2026. Okay, so if you know somebody, if you're in a district and you're thinking about this might be you, right? If you might be the Greg Stoker, if you might be the me in my particular district, right? If you might be
who are you?
Oh, well, I can't tell you yet.
But why? You're running for Congress.
I'm in 3 weeks about. I'm in the Central Valley. Okay, I'm running against a very, 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 very weak. After Prop 50, all the Democrats got weaker, right? I'm running against a very, very weak Democrat who's on the House Foreign Affairs Committee.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
He's been here for a minute.
Well, don't give
He's
too many
awful.
clues.
They're all
Don't give too
Zionists.
many clues. Don't give too many clues.
Get clues out of me, y'all. Just let me do my thing. So
All right,
anyway,
all right, all right.
what we really
Okay,
need
okay.
is- Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
Okay, you want people to email you once they have signed up to run a primary challenge at that email address.
Yeah. So, well, what they can do is I will tell them how to do it. Right. I did it in my district. I got the paperwork. I already have about 50 signatures. I already got enough. I already have my nominating signatures. You only need 20.
All right, but you know that it could be
Definitely
different
could be on
in
the
different
ballot.
states, right?
No, yes. That's why I'm specifically focusing on California. Right. I know that.
Okay,
in California,
okay.
we
You
have-
just
I know
want people.
you know
Okay,
about the
you
jungle
didn't
primary and
make that
everything,
clear. Okay, give us the email address again. If folks want more information about how to challenge somebody in the district in California, this is the email address.
Yes. And then let me say one more thing.
No,
The
email address.
The email address. Hey, look, man, I can just start saying some libertarian shit, and you keep me on here for 20 minutes. Okay, so hold on. Sounds like it.
We're getting into that zone.
It's Resistance Party 2026. Okay,
All right.
Resistance, just the way resistance is spelled, just like the M in Hamas.
No, I got you.
Right,
Resistance Party 2026 at gmail.com.
Email.
Okay. All right.
And then let me say the one more thing, in case people don't understand, for those Californians or people who know someone who lives in California, in case you don't know how it works, even though you listen to Sam, so you should know how it works, because now even people like me can talk about Social Security for 45 minutes at a time. The jungle primary in California is anybody can run in June. You get your 20 signatures and your $1,700 and or 1,700 signatures, right? And anybody can get on the ballot in June. You literally need 20 signatures and $1,700 of signatures. So then, if you can get in the top 2 vote getters in June, you get on the fucking general ballot in November. You just have to get second place in June.
Yeah.
And guess what? In off your elections, guess how many votes you need to get second place?
Not many, I would bet. Not. Okay. I mean, I think. Listen, okay. So I get it. All right. I'm gonna let you go because your phone is also breaking up. I'm speaking a libertarian, but that's the.
Excited, Sam.
I know. I got you. Resistance. Say it one more time.
To let you get in on the ground floor here.
Say it again.
That's not.
Anyway.
All right.
Don't pitch us like an MLM.
All right. Appreciate the call.
No, it is, but I gotta anyway. So, and Matt, I'm sorry the T-Wolves took us straight the other day when that guy was wearing their
All right.
hat.
Well, let's not dilute what we've already had. I appreciate the call.
Right.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it's very important. No, but I was trying to get in the other day, and that guy in that clip was wearing a T-Wolves hat.
Okay. Don't worry about it. You've done it. I appreciate the call.
Resistance Party 2020.
No, we got
Resistance Party 2026. Resistance Party 2026 at gmail.com.
Open conversation is the way of humans connecting.
There we go. I mean,
Okay.
listen. I think the
Yes.
theory is actually not a horrible one. I
like
do
what Greg's
think
doing. Yeah.
I do think anonymity. I just don't. I don't think that's the best way to win. I think that like the net, you come on, you say I'm running in this district, I'm taking this guy on. Maybe there's a couple of listeners who are in that district. They'd vote for you. net, I don't think that anybody would be back in their Washington office going like, oh, we just got a report from the majority report. Somebody's coming to get us. I just don't think it's the way it works.
He should use that in his race. The M as in Hamas, which isn't even the first letter of Hamas.
I didn't even know where M comes in.
Gmail? I don't know.
There's no M in resistance.
Resistance Party 2026.
I mean, my problem is like you're starting a new party in addition to trying to run for office for the first time. How about join in? I mean, people have such an aversion to joining in, and it's one thing when the Democrats were the only game in town. Zohran Mamdani just went from a DSA member to state assembly to mayor of New York City. Like, there are parties that you should probably, even the Green Party. I just think this whole thing of making a new thing, Resistance Party 2026, I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm sorry.
Paul Prague says, screw third-party candidates. I'm a fourth-party candidate.
Yeah.
I think he's focusing too much on the party part.
Yeah.
California resistance. Sam reports ICE traffic stops here in Coachella Valley, California, using available resources to stay alert and report. Chris Burdick, this caller reminds me of my neighbor who ran for president in 2020, but did no fundraising, held no rallies, did no campaigning, did no advertising, filed no paperwork. He did build a fairly incoherent website and a few social media profiles, and that was enough to secure his wife's write-in vote, which I guess is something.
Is that jank?
Oh. Wow. That's good. I mean, to be fair, maybe it could have been. Let's check in. Adam Friedland had got a scoop on this. He interviewed Scott Jennings. That's the guy from CNN, right? Who got really upset at you, Emma.
This
Scowl Scotty
day, so the first time I did CNN, he didn't get as upset the first time. The second one was, when he flipped out. But he had just come back from recording this. He was seemingly blissfully unaware that, Adam might be making fun of him. Yeah, he was like, I just did this podcast. And I was like, oh, Adam Friedland. I know Adam, Joe. So I was excited to see how this turned out.
Let's watch it. That sounds surprising.
Look, here's the bottom line. I'm not going to let someone else determine what I am on the inside. Only I know what I am on the inside.
What are you?
What am I?
Yeah.
I'm someone who understands and believes that trans women
are women.
Are women.
Uh-huh.
And it would be completely irresponsible for me to go out and try to make them into something that they're not.
Wow.
Who in their right mind would try to make someone into something that they're not? That sounds like what a crazy person would do. Look, here's the bottom line.
Wow. Scott Jennings really
the mask has come off.
Yeah, very very surprising, and actually
the woke
rational.
mind virus got him too.
Completely rational. I don't know. Should we reveal that is just a clip?
It's just a clip that apparently they said.
Adam said, "Play devil's advocate." So you argue in favor of trans rights, and I'll argue against it.
Yeah, and here's there's this Laura Powell, who I think is a right-wing civil liberties person, and she's upset at Amy Coney Barrett for apparently using the terms trans girls and cisgender. And the thing that I think conservatives don't realize, they think they won the Matt Walsh "what is a woman" thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't, because they're full of shit. They think Adam and Eve is like gender. Like you have ancient beliefs. And so like there's this idea, they've never come to terms. They still think it's like a 70-30 issue or whatever. But really was a giant distraction that allowed fascists to get into office. And, it's good to see. And also Scott Jennings did not turn out viewers for Adam Friedland's show. Only 40,000.
I mean,
views on that.
I think people are kind of sick of him in every feasible way because, it's just I think a lot of people are really sick of this artifice, and even what we see with the Trump administration, you know, they deflect from criticism with like the most aggressive corporate PR campaign possible, where there's not even like an attempt to gesture towards a shared reality. And that guy's just on retainer by CNN to say nothing that he believes. It's just about, and you get that sense when you're sitting across from them. It's very like difficult to understand. And when you believe your beliefs, and then you see somebody who is playing a role, but like, God, I mean, actors are doing it for the art. You're doing it for fascism.
And to take a position where Scott Jennings will never criticize the Trump administration for anything, because that's why he's hired, to be there.
And if he may have one in his back pocket if he's asked that question, what would you criticize them over? Oh, I have X, but it's always going to be the least consequential thing.
It's a game for him. And I think he shows it.
Adam Friedland show, he said that he sees what he does on Abby Phillip as a mixture of show business and WWE.
Oh, he criticized the Kennedy Center thing. So it's always, dumb bullshit like that.
Yep.
Dead
Just because their
Saffel.
bosses want him to have something.
Yes.
Yep. Dead Saffel. Hey, I'm I'm a campaign promoter for Chris Beardsley for Senate. Well, that's your first mistake. You should have never told us the name of the candidate. Chris Beardsley for Senate. A better Chris for a better Delaware. We're running a grassroots campaign to primary corporate Dem Chris Coons in September. Beardsley is a Democratic Socialist of America member, Peace Corps volunteer, Fulbright scholar, and management and program analyst at HUD. Coons is an AIPAC-backed multimillionaire who has voted against an increase to the federal minimum wage and against restricting military aid to Israel. Beardsley is running on a progressive agenda of Medicare for all, abolishing ICE, ending support for foreign wars and to Israel, tying minimum wage to inflation, make it livable, and public housing solutions. There are many ways you can help and contribute. You can find our website by searching for Beardsley, Beardsley for Delaware. Beardsley for Delaware. Appreciate the IM.
I have a correction to make. I didn't read the full headline. CNN Scott Jennings hits back at Trump Kennedy Center critics. So he was not on the
there you
opposite.
Oh.
Still looking for one.
Yeah.
Zane, now that you've given his name away, I'll never vote for him. They already see it coming. Should we check in on what Tim Pool is doing? Is this worth watching?
I had fun with this. Caitlin Bennett, before Riley Gaines, there was Caitlin Bennett. Who I remember, first thing that comes to mind is that there's a rumor that she shit her pants.
Yep.
Probably true. And then
where at Tim Pool's place?
At a party.
Oh, I see. Okay,
I haven't seen evidence to the
at
contrary.
Pool's place, I can tell you, it's worth saving it for the toilet.
As always, love hearing about that. Well, she also, then the second thing she's most famous for is wanting to open carry her gun around Kent State.
Kent State, ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember her. This was years ago.
And she went on Tim Pool's show. They're talking about trans people here. And I do find it amusing how Tim kind of gets caught trying to fence sit, but he realizes that what the kind of audience likely wants is hatred. And then they abruptly change the subject.
She probably brought an AR-15 to the interview. So
Right. She has pointed at him under the table. You wanted to kind of equivocate on this? And then I'll pull a Sam Seder in your toilet.
Word to describe something, even if it is a gradient, and what I mean by that is not that gender is a sliding scale, whatever the stupid thing they say is, but like if a dude is hopped up on, like if a dude does a bunch of crack, right? We have a word for that. It's crackhead.
Right.
And if someone pumps themselves full of female hormones so they grow tits, and then they put on makeup, we have a word for that. And it's
Pervert.
trans woman. Yeah, but that I disagree because some are, and some there's a combination of mental disorders that envelop, that can manifest in the appearance of what we describe as maybe transvestite or whatever, but
a cross-dresser.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
But I know what you're saying.
We're saying
because-
Pause it.
Right.
Redditor,
it's
maybe.
different than just dressing.
So like.
Sorry. I just love that he knows that cross-dressing is different than being trans, right? Like he's close enough, he's smart enough, and that's not saying much, to realize that like there's drag, there's cross-dressing, and then there's people who change their gender medically, whether it be through hormones, whether it be through surgery. And he's trying to make that distinction, and she's not allowing it. What did she say? Some mental disorder or something horrible?
Perversion.
Pervert. Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Do you support Trump, the pedophile protector? Just.
I mean, this is what I'm saying about them. They think they won the trans argument, but it's all incoherent, and they just decided on hate.
Yeah.
That can manifest in the appearance of what we describe as maybe transvestite or whatever, but
a cross-dresser.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
But I know what you're saying.
We're saying they've pumped themselves full of drugs.
Right.
Redditor,
it's
maybe.
Different than just dressing.
So like a person we describe as a trans woman. Actually, you know what? I got to stop. You know what? You're right. Because the definition from the left is that you don't have to do those things to be trans, and trans literally doesn't mean anything anymore. It doesn't have a rigid definition. Actually.
No. And I don't like to play into the idea that
What is a trans woman, Tim?
oh yeah, this person is transgender, this transgender person. No, this person is either a boy or a girl.
Castrato.
And I just hate it. Oh, it's disgusting. Especially as a woman, I cannot take that stuff. It is disgusting to me.
Well, have you seen all the memes they've been making about the thirsty middle-aged women who want to bang ice guys?
Yes, I have, and I have a funny. Some of my bodyguards are like super jacked, and when I go out to these liberal old woman protests, without fail, they always. Your bodyguard has big muscles.
You said you want to touch him.
Yeah, well, you know.
She's like, I'm parched.
Do you want him to roll up his sleeve and show his forearms and flex?
That's it.
That U-turn was so intense as the car flipped about 9-10 times.
I can't even follow half of what's going on there, but I also think that like she has also had gender affirming work done.
I think it's interesting psychologically that you're talking about trans people and all of a sudden you get into sexual fantasies of people you perceive as enemies and talking about the bodies of your bodyguards. Who's paying for Caitlyn Bennett's bodyguards?
I'm gonna bet that when she goes to protest that there aren't a bunch of women with their tongues out because she's got bodyguards around her. Also,
whoa!
Bitch,
I was coming to this protest to argue against the killing by ICE officials, but I didn't realize there'd be some studs.
Presumably, she's there to make media. So why are there no clips of this, Caitlyn?
And also, bitch, you have a gun, I thought. Isn't that your whole thing? You need bodyguards on top of that? How paranoid are these people? Which side just shot a woman point blank in the face because she dared to criticize them? Anyway, I did just find it funny how uncomfortable Tim Pool gets, and then she brings up a clearly untrue story about how just like all these liberal women are claiming are craving such testosterone. I mean, that's why I just go hubba hubba when I see that catcher's mitt RFK Jr. drinking milk. I mean, all we need. I just want more testosterone to human body ratio, and I'll finally be satisfied.
Anyway, God knows what goes through Tim Pool's head.
As a woman,
this is disgusting.
I'm gonna use that just like as a woman. Well, you go get me that stapler over there. I'm just gonna use that completely disconnected from anything.
Caitlyn Bennett, you're speaking as a pants shitter.
Yeah.
Calling from a 630 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Is that me?
It is you.
Oh, hello. One second. Hi. My name is. We'll go with Ray. I am from the Memphis area, and there was like there was like a protest march on Sunday, and like at least 3 people got ran over by ICE. And I just don't really see anybody talking about Memphis a lot at all. But I just wanted to kind of bring awareness to that.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there video footage of it? I hadn't heard that. I hadn't even...
So a good place to keep up with Memphis news is MLK50. They're an independent journalism journal website, and on there's like a whole bunch of videos of like what happened. And like you can see them, like there's this, so like people are like trying to, so it's the back of the parade, and people are trying to like block the state troopers from like running into people. And so you have people just standing there in front of the car, like their arms are raised, and you see this like one of the cars like drive past this person, and she's like banging on the window because, hey, you're going to drive into people. And then like they like stop the car, they get out, and they're like just like you can see it's just like them wrenching her around, and it's a very visceral sight.
All right, we'll check it out. I hadn't heard that they're in Memphis. I mean, I assume they're in many cities. I just don't know how big of a presence, but
there's a huge presence in them because our governor allowed them to come in.
Yeah, I was going to say we should probably do some more emphasis of the non-blue state areas that are under these occupation too, because you don't hear about them as much because the politicians are actively collaborating instead of just impotent.
Yeah. Yes, and even like the MPD, the Memphis Police Department, they were like, oh, we're going to like at first, like the first month, they were like, oh, we're not going to like really work with them, and now like we know that ICE agents and like DHS, like literally everybody is just they follow behind police cars, so that they can like if like someone has a traffic stop, they will just if they're any not white person, they will just pull them over and be like, hey, like we're gonna arrest you and stuff.
All right, well, I appreciate the call. We'll check it out.
Yeah, awesome, thank you.
Glenn Beck ate my dad says iceout.org is a good ICE tracker. I think that's the website. I think that's the website. They said stand by. Okay. Tom Cotton's Beard, they're hitting reddish areas of Pennsylvania. They're stationing in Harrisburg, going to agricultural areas like York and Chamsburg, including to high schools.
Jesus.
Ryan from Florida, there are currently reports of ICE in Orlando too, with DeSantis' full approval. I'm sure of it.
Well, got to see what's going on. I mean, what's happening with Shapiro? Is there I'm still unclear about this 100 miles from the border thing. Is that why they're going to? I guess Harrisburg is Harrisburg further west in Pennsylvania?
ICE works in the interior of the country, and
I know.
Custom Border Patrol needs to be within 100 miles. But I imagine, my guess is that there's some bureaucratic designation that they are on loan to ICE or operating.
You're ICE
today. Exactly.
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of maybe to echo Dan's despondence about this a little bit. It's like, I mean, they're not following any laws. Why should we expect them to follow?
Total immunity is what they've been told.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I would like to see, they say they're going after only violent criminals. Then how about statutorily? You can only go after those people. But, we don't have a Congress that's going to stand up for that.
I mean, I think there's two different things, right? There's the ability of Congress to impose restrictions on them, statutory conditions, no mask, whatever. There's that hurdle, but apparently, and then there's the hurdle of getting them to follow it. But if this is just about people going out onto the streets and protecting their communities, it's helpful. Maybe not for the people who would do it today, but for the people who would do it tomorrow, to hear their politicians provide them some type of license to do so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is that I think I don't think that Chuck Schumer necessarily has the ability to control ICE's behavior in the short term, but he certainly has the ability to indicate to people that what is going on here is beyond normal. It is completely wrong. Not write a letter wrong. Not I'm going to talk for 45 minutes at a click on the Senate floor wrong. But like the rules of society are broken in such a way, and you must, as a citizen, defend your community from people who are destroying the fabric of our society. And this is an opportunity to do that. And maybe they won't take it. Calling from a 904 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hello? Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Demosthenes from Florida.
What is it? What is your name?
Demosthenes?
Yes.
From
Demosthenes
Florida.
from Florida. What's on your mind, Demosthenes?
I would like to, well, as much as I would want to talk about Graham Plattner and race, I think I should discuss Renee Good.
Okay.
Do you know who Keith Porter is?
Yes. Yes, the black man that was killed by ICE or shot at by ICE, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just the race difference between a black man and a white woman with you know, the news coverage is a bit insane to me, but it's expected. Sad.
I also think the video piece, like I totally 100% agree with you. And if there were video of both instances, we know that Renee Good would still get disproportionate coverage due to her whiteness.
Or if there wasn't video of George Floyd, for instance.
Right. But I do think that in this particular instance, it's the brutality of the video and how much evidence we have.
And increasing, and I think also too, you know, like off duty versus on duty, and you know, sort of like with that level of force. But the reality is like our news is so video driven. You know, this may seem obvious, but it is so much more dramatically so in the past 4 or 5 years because of social media. That's a big part of it, but it doesn't negate your point. I will say that.
I was like, before I found out about Keith Porter, like a day or two after Good got killed. I was wanting to call in and talk about Sonia Massey because it's a very similar situation, though some people might bring the difference of, well, those are cops compared to ICE agents, which as a black person myself, I don't think there's a real difference. Like, what's the difference between Nazis and brown shirts? Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think there is a difference, but it's also, I think, a valid perspective that at the end of the day, you know, you're shot dead by someone with a badge. It doesn't matter what the specifics are. And I think to a certain extent, you know, her name escapes me now, but she'd written that piece about the barbershop in Wisconsin. Matt, you remember?
Malaika Jabali.
Malaika, yeah. Jabari, you know, writing a piece about back in the wake of the 2016 Trump Clinton election, where, you know, there's a sense that, like, you know, nothing's changing. We're going to get it treated the same. And I mean, I think to a certain extent, certainly it's a defensible perspective.
Yeah.
And I think
also,
go ahead.
It's like I also understand, like, for the same reason that you just said, I understand why people bring up Nazi Germany whenever it comes to discrimination and the papers, please situation. But like U.S. Slave trade, well, not during the slave trade, but black people with slave catchers, papers, please would also always be asked. So I just also that similarity as well. Like, we've oddly enough been here before, so I guess read up a bit. Not you guys specifically, I mean in general, but just get further education on how we've been here before and what we've done. So
Yeah, that's a good point. Appreciate the call.
have a nice one.
You too.
Matt from Tampa says an international airport is considered a border, so they can technically operate 100 miles from that as well. Milo, no offense to the rest of you guys, but I think we can all agree Matt is the funniest one on the Majority Report. Talking as a pants shitter, laugh my ass off.
Sorry, what did I do that made them laugh their ass off?
Talking as a pants shitter.
Oh. A lot of people
Brian?
are saying I should be getting.
You're just
these,
going to sit there and you're going to take that?
Comedy Mothership in my future.
Just too angry to address that situation.
Me and
my
old-
teeth are cracking.
might be
Well,
down to
that
Kill
was
Tony.
already foretold.
I have my Kill Tony little debut in a little bit.
The mill
Just let
rhyme.
Matt keep talking. It'll settle.
Oh, I read that already. John from the Berg. Have you seen the videos of the women wanting to bang ice guys? My algorithm is different from other people's.
Oh, and I meant to say that. Like, it's just like they pivot because they're in this thorny area of gender, conversations. To
There's
like
boys and girls.
All the women want to fuck us, don't they? Even though we're like, there's no evidence that the right is attracting new women. It's definitely happening. Like, I mean, we read those numbers you did yesterday, Matt, about from that op-ed about how younger white women are like becoming increasingly radicalized.
60% of white women 18 to 44 believe it's acceptable to go beyond peaceful protest when resisting ICE.
Yeah, and so right, but it's that cohort that's just like it goes hubba when ICE agents walk around or
like,
bodyguards walk around with.
They want to throw jars of piss at them. They don't want to, and not in a sexy way.
Yeah.
Zane,
Clearly,
oh my.
now that I'm covered in your piss, clearly you want to bang me.
Oh my, I'm actually really glad you took this guy's call instead of mine. This is my favorite time I've spent on hold since I used to prank call darkness after midnight. Sure, I know what that is, but
The mystery
dude,
Congress candidate.
aesthetic. All right, let's take one more phone call. You are the final caller of the week, calling from a 510 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Is this me?
It is you.
Oh my God. Awesome. My name is Kamyar. I actually do not live in California. I moved to Illinois 5 years ago. Just a little tidbit. I used to work for Tesla. I'm glad I don't anymore. There was a time years ago where I had a lot of very interesting stories because I was sitting 10 feet from Elon Musk at all times for about a month. I didn't work directly with him, but basically I saw a lot of very interesting things, and I really wish that I was more into Twitter at the time to actually post about these things, because they're really insane things. Just as a preview, I watched the man in the fetal position underneath a desk right next to me tweet something. I look at my phone, I see the tweet, I look to my left, I look at him, a comment comes up, he laughs at it, and I'm like seeing this in real time. It was insane. And also, there's another story. I call it the Elon Musk sex room. I could go into it like at some other time. It's a very funny, long story.
Wait, what do you mean?
I would say go into that now.
Okay,
give us a little bit of it.
Fuck it.
Just a taste, yeah.
Fuck it, sure. Okay. So I come into work. I sit down at my desk, but as I'm coming in, the place I sit in is called Galaxy. It's this room that has, it's open to the whole plant. There's the body shop to the left, SNX to the right, whatever. I walk by and there's a bunch of people that are congregated around this little child. And they're all like, having conversation.
Congregated around
she,
a little
introduces
child,
herself.
did you say?
Yes, a child. Yes. It'll make sense when I get to that.
Okay.
So there's a child there. And she's like, hi, nice to meet you. And I give her a handshake. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And I walk to my desk, and as I'm walking to my desk, one of my coworkers stops me. He's like, hey, bro, do you know who that was? I'm like, no. Like, it's a little girl. Who's that? It's like, bro, that's Grimes. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I swear to God, she looked like a 15-year-old girl because she was like wearing a floral dress. She was tiny. I didn't know anything about Grimes. And then I look on Google and I see a picture of her wearing that same floral dress with Elon coming out of a plane along with one of his larger children. And I saw that, and I saw him later that day, and it was like that day. He got off the plane that day, and she's at the plant. I'm like, okay, that's weird. A few hours later, a bunch of assistants come in. There's a big conference room next to where I sit. It's called Jupiter. And they're putting up tarps. Yes, I know. It's Galaxy, Jupiter, haha, funny. So they start putting up tarps on the glass. Because just for the record, Elon was sleeping in that room for about 2 weeks while Model 3 was going out, right? So they put up these tarps, and I'm like, okay, I guess he wants privacy. I come in the next day, and a bunch of, maybe 30 or 40 people were in Jupiter that morning, around 10. And I see, 3 production supervisors / managers. They're all sitting, standing, talking to each other, but they have this, really, weird look on their face. And I walk up to them, and I'm like, hey, guys, how's it going? What's going on? You guys just had a meeting? And they're like, yeah, we had a meeting. There was a problem though. There was this smell that we couldn't really describe what it was, and then we just realized what it was. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, there was this musk in the room, and also there was something on the couch that somebody said. So yeah, somebody sat in Elon Musk. Unfortunately, there is no Uranus in Jupiter, or sorry, not in Jupiter, fuck, in Galaxy. It's Mars, Venus, and Jupiter. So, yeah, so apparently somebody sat in his musk or cum or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it was horrible. I felt so bad. And so I had to, oh man, just remembering it is honestly, it's fun. Again, it would have been funnier had he not ended up, because I was working there from 2017 to 2019. This story would be funnier if he wasn't the worst, one of the worst people that has ever existed on this planet. And it sucks because I have other little tidbits. He walked out of that room one day and he's just wearing pajamas, and there's a cereal box thing that he can pour himself knockoff Lucky Charms at, and he just pours himself a heaping bowl, and he has it tucked under his chin while he's like attempting to shovel it in his face while a bunch of people in suits, like executives and shit, are like discussing things with him. And mind you, again, I am sitting right there this whole time. I'm not like just looking because I don't have anything else better to do. I'm literally doing my job and I'm watching this happen in front of me. And it's just like insane. It's like a literal toddler child. And if it wasn't for the fact that he's like 6'3", like it would be more likely, it would be like him infantilizing himself, but he's infantilizing these other adults to have to talk to him about this stuff. And it's just like, oh man.
Well, I would suggest coffee table book.
What do you mean? You want me to like publish this as like a little story for people?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would love to, honestly. I just don't, I never knew like where to really go with this kind of stuff. You know, like it's, they're all little interesting stories that I've told my friends.
Sounds like you need to go to therapy. I would say.
I
also,
mean,
to deal
way ahead of you. Don't worry about it. But really quick, I didn't want that to be the whole thing that I was talking about. I don't know how much
that's
time
my
I
fault,
have.
and I want to apologize to you and the audience.
No, it's fine.
What else
it's
you got?
fine.
We got to get out of here.
But, yeah. Okay. So I'm Iranian or Persian, if I want to sound nicer, and I have a family that I have been talking to about not only what's been happening in the U.S. in regards to the protests and Renee Good and all the other horrible, terrible shit that's been happening, but with what's been happening in Iran and like the parallels that people are, making between Iran and the U.S. and this and that. And the most frustrating thing for me is having that conversation with them in regards to like, oh, the people of Iran, they want the Shah back, or they want this, or, it's good that Israel is doing this and that. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, why are you parroting these fucking awful talking points? Like you clearly like, and I don't want to be mean because it's like, I love my family, and they were the ones that lived through the revolution, and they were there for it, and they have the context and understanding. And I was born here. I don't have that like shared lived experience or whatever. But it's just they're like they don't see they can't see the forest through the trees or whatever the terminology is. And it's one of those things that it's really hard to have the conversation to tell them what's happening is bad, but if there's any involvement from Israel or the United States or any other like outside force to like bring about this like new revolution or like depose the mullahs,
it's not helpful.
Whoever, it's not helpful at all.
Right.
And what's even worse? Oh my God, the worst thing I heard was my uncle. Last thing I'll say, my uncle literally compared Hamas to the mullahs, and I'm just like, nope. I'm done. I don't want to hear that. That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's not even the same thing. So it's frustrating. So yeah, maybe I will use an extra session just to talk about that. But thank you guys very much.
Good
for
luck
taking my
with
call.
it.
I really
Appreciate the call. Thanks.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, folks. This sound signifies the end of the call-in portion of the program and the entire week's worth of programming. Matt, Brian, Emma, great job this week. Folks, have a great long weekend if you have one. I hope you do. We will be back live on Tuesday. Stay safe.
It might take all the strength I got to get to where I want, but I know somehow I'm gonna get there. I wasn't looking when I just got caught between the truth and the lie bar. But finding out won't make me feel any better. Yeah, I know the clock is ticking, but the meds are gonna kick in, and my pilot light shining bright. I get somewhere the choice was made, for the option where you don't get paid, for the road that bends before it finally breaks you. I guess somehow I lost shifted in and